Hi guys, my name's Caitlin and today's video is going to be a first trimester recap. I was so obsessed with these videos when we were trying to conceive and when I was first entering my first trimester, when I found out I was pregnant, and just kind of trying to piece together what I thought I could potentially be experiencing in those first 13 weeks. I want to talk about symptoms, kind of my story of how I told my husband, how I found out I was pregnant, and of course how we told our families, and a couple of must-have items. I found out I was pregnant just a couple days after we got back from Disney. I had been testing. I had a whole bunch of those cheapy Amazon strips that you just you dip into your pee, and I had been testing with those several times a day because I was a little crazy, and I was just thinking to myself, like, it's so funny how people can talk themselves into seeing a line. And I picked up my test and I thought I saw a line. I know now it was a line. It was a very, very, very faint positive. So I didn't say a word. I threw the test out and I tried again the next morning. I got another super faint positive, so I went and took one of the more expensive tests that I had bought. That was also a positive. And so that morning, the morning I found out I was positive, my husband had already left for work. So I sat on my couch and was like, oh my God, how am I going to tell him? I looked on Pinterest, I looked on Instagram, I looked on YouTube, and there was so many cute ideas, but I could not wait. I wanted it to be a surprise. I didn't want to just say it, but I couldn't wait to order a cute onesie or do a cute, I don't know, some sort of event. You can find so many of them if you literally just Google pregnancy announcement. There's so many different ideas. So I had been taking prenatals prior to us conceiving. So what I did was I just took my the positive pregnancy tests and I stacked them one on top of another, and I just leaned them against my prenatal vitamins. When he came home for lunch, I just said, hey, do you mind, passing me my prenatals? He opened the cupboard into our medicine cabinet to get the prenatals. He saw the test. He didn't bring me my prenatals. He just kind of slammed the door to the cupboard and came over, threw himself on the couch and started bawling into my shoulder and was like, oh my God, really? This is really happening? And then he was kind of like, wait, now what? I was only 3 weeks, and I was 3 weeks and 4 days, so I was super early finding out. So my symptoms didn't start right at 3 weeks and 4 days. So that week I just was in disbelief. Week 4 I started to get insane, completely insatiable thirst. Now I have this water bottle here. It's just like a Starbucks, I think it's a venti size water cup, and I would drink my Nalgene bottle at work, and I would drink several Nalgene bottles worth of water a day, and then I'd come home, drink several of these at night, and then going to bed I would fill this up, have it next to my nightstand, and then I would drink it all, wake up in the middle of the night, and have to fill it back up and drink it all again. So I was drinking 2 of these in the middle of the night. You'd swear I had never drank water for days. Week 5, I was cramping. It was pretty normal. It felt like normal period cramps. Maybe a little less so because I get really bad period cramps. However, at 5 weeks, 6 days, I went to the doctor because a couple times throughout the night I had woken up with really bad cramps, and they were so bad that I had to get up out of bed. I had to get on the floor. If you know anything about yoga, I was in child's pose on the floor, and that was the only way I felt any kind of relief in my abdominal muscles in my back. So at 5 weeks, 6 days, I went to the doctor. They advised me to go to the emergency room. Unfortunately, it was my husband's birthday, so he spent half of his day in the emergency room, but it was worth it to ensure the health of me and our baby. Everything was fine, by the way, no problems. They did an ultrasound, they took my vitals, and they took blood, and everything was good. I also started fatigue in that week. I would be super tired at work, and then by the time I got home I was just completely zonked. I went straight to bed. My husband would wake me up to eat dinner, and then I'd go right back to bed. I was usually like in bed for the night around 7:30 or so, which is super unusual of me. I like to go to bed early, but like 10 o'clock, not like 7. So week 6 was the beginning of my nausea. I have been taking diclectin for my nausea because it was so debilitating. I wasn't getting any more cramps. I was still super thirsty. Sorry, I have it written down here so I don't forget. I was still super thirsty, end of my cramping, but I had been getting round ligament pain, so anytime I sneezed or anytime I rolled over in bed, I'd get a super sharp pain in my side, and it was like that. It was like so quick. It was over before it began. I know 6 weeks is super early to be getting round ligament pain, but that's totally what it was because I still experience it, the same thing now at 16 weeks. I started getting bloated, so week 6 was around the time I stopped wearing any kind of pants that were not leggings. The bloat is real. You don't even recognize your body, and you think maybe at first you're getting a baby bump and you're like, I didn't think this would happen this early, but it's not happening, probably. I mean, maybe it happens for some, especially second, third, fourth time moms, but first time mom here, and it was just bloat. I also started getting sore nipples, mostly at the end of the day, and usually after wearing like a normal bra, so I, for the most part, have moved over to sports bras during my work week. When I'm really active, I work in a dental office, so I'm constantly like running around doing stuff, and just having the sports bra gives me a little bit more support, so my bust isn't moving as much and it's not aggravating my nipples as much. So that helps. Nipples are still a little sore by the end of the day, but it definitely did help to be able to wear a sports bra. So week 7, my nausea increased, and I also developed food aversions. My food aversion was mostly to uncooked meats, so I couldn't be around any uncooked meat. That one is tough because I'm not a vegetarian, and it's just tough not being able to be around cooking meat when usually as a meat eater, the main course of all of my meals is based around some type of meat product. My husband has had to do a lot of cooking. Thankfully he can and does know how. I know some women aren't as lucky and their husbands are not as self-sufficient. Also, I was still experiencing thirst. I was still experiencing severe bloating, and I was still having sore nipples. Week 8 was a lot of fun. My symptoms were still, nausea, food aversion, thirst, bloat, sore nipples, but week 8 was when we told our families that I was pregnant. So I'll go into the story of how we told our parents. We had gone on Etsy and we had some Christmas ornaments made that said Grandma and Grandpa July 2020. We were going to tell everyone on Christmas Day and have them open it as a Christmas present. However, we realized after the fact we had sent a card, we sent 3 cards to family members who we're close enough with that we wanted to tell in person but couldn't, one going as far as Florida. All those people, we sent them cards with an ultrasound picture saying like surprise, and that I was pregnant and I was due in July. So I didn't want people with kids potentially calling my house super early before that that present had been opened, so it would be like the surprise would be totally ruined. What we did was we decided to give them as Christmas Eve gifts, since both of our families do Christmas Eve gifts. Every Christmas Eve, Christopher's family does a Christmas Eve dinner, followed by going to a Christmas Eve party that his father, my father-in-law, has been attending since he was 13 or 14 or so. So it's kind of obligatory when you enter the family. We went over to his family's house. They were having appetizers and whatnot, so we decided this year we were going to spend appetizers at his parents'. We would spend dinner at my parents', and then after dinner at my parents' we would head on over to this Christmas party. Sorry, pregnancy gets you out of breath. So we went over to Christopher's grandparents' house. We had appetizers. his mom gave us our Christmas Eve gift, which always consists of pajamas. We all had our pajamas already open, so we brought in our gift to give to his parents. They opened it. The reaction that we got from them was priceless. So my mother-in-law was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. She got up out of her chair, had to come over and hug me. I have a really good relationship with my in-laws. I love them so much. So it was a really touching reaction for me, because I know some people don't have the same relationship with their in-laws that I do, but I love my in-laws, so their reaction to me was absolutely priceless. My father-in-law, I did not expect his reaction. I kind of thought he would just kind of be like, yeah. But he actually was speechless, and he bawled he bawled. I had never seen him like that before, and I don't think I'll ever see him like that again. So after the appetizers, we went over to my parents' house. My siblings are 3 and 12, so they have the Elf on the Shelf tradition at their house. So my mom was cooking dinner and asked me to please go downstairs, just set up the Elf on the Shelf. So on Christmas Eve, our Elf on the Shelf leaves us our Christmas Eve gifts, again, also pajamas, and then goes away. So my mom asked me to go hide the Elf on the Shelf and put the Christmas Eve presents out with the little note from our elf's called Miss Elfie. Very original name. So Miss Elfie got hid. I brought out the presents, and I also included the one for my parents. After dinner, after my brother had gone and had his bath, we went downstairs, and to his surprise, there is the Christmas Eve gifts. So we all opened our Christmas Eve gifts, put our pajamas on, and then my parents went to open theirs, which was obviously not pajamas because it was in a much smaller box. My mom opened it, and she laughed, because she was kind of like, how did I not see this? And then she kind of like shoved the box at me a little bit, not aggressively, just like kind of like, I can't believe you didn't tell me and you've been here for 2 weeks. And then she showed my stepdad, who couldn't see. He was just kind of sitting over in his chair, and he's like, oh, that's very nice, because he knew it was an ornament, but he didn't have his glasses on, so he couldn't read it. So then my mom was like, no, read it. He read it, and he was like, oh, and just like pleasant surprise. And my mom started to also bawl and hugged me and wouldn't let me go because she was just so overwhelmed. It was definitely awesome. It was an awesome. I didn't think we'd get those reactions. I thought people would just be like, oh, congratulations. But both sets of parents, there were tears, and I got it on camera, which is so awesome. I'll include a picture of the ornament. Like I said, I got it on Etsy. There's all different kinds. I was thrilled that we were able to tell our families in person, because we live in Ontario and they live in Nova Scotia. So it was actually really important to me when we were planning our pregnancy that we would be at home when we got to tell our families, because I just didn't want to do it over FaceTime. I really wanted to be there. It was something really special. First grandkid on both sides, and our first kid ever, so I really wanted to be there in person to tell them. So that was week 8. Weeks 9 through 13 were pretty much the same as week 8. I had nausea, I had food aversion, I had bloating, I had sore nipples, and the fatigue, of course. I was still taking the diclectin. I was still like sleeping till 11. I was on vacation, so I was sleeping till 11, and I'd take a nap at 3, and then I would still go to bed at like 9 or 10. I was so exhausted. Like, nothing will prepare you for the amount of fatigue you have. I've never felt anything like that before, and I have done like sleep deprivation exercises, and it doesn't matter. Like, there is no kind of tired like pregnancy tired, I am telling you. Week 13, things started to change. I had nausea, but I only had nausea in the evening, so I was able to go to work, not a problem. I only started feeling sick around 4:30, 5 o'clock, so I was already home by the time I started feeling nauseous in the evening. My nausea was also brought on by eating too much, and where I was not feeling good in the evening, I was trying to eat more at my breakfast and my lunch, and those were my more substantial meals, and I was typically trying to just have like soup or some toast or something like really light for dinner, because if I had something too heavy or I ate too much of something, I was running for the bathroom all night. I still had food aversion, so any food that was cooked that involved any kind of meat, I had to go upstairs. My husband had to cook it, and I was still super bloated and still had sore nipples. It actually wasn't until this week that I realized just how bloated I've been, because my bloating has finally subsided at week 16, but week 13 in my first trimester, I still was experiencing some bloating. I just didn't realize how much bloating I actually was experiencing. All right, and last but not least, we have my must-have items. My first must-have is prenatal vitamins. I was taking my prenatal vitamins prior to getting pregnant. These ones are the Smarty Pants Prenatal Complete. These are so delicious. If you're looking for a gummy vitamin, these are definitely the ones to go with. They're a little bit on the pricier end, but I like them so much that I think it's worth it. However, if you're in Canada and you're shopping on Amazon, just keep an eye on the price, because when I first bought these, they were $30 something a bottle, which I could justify because it's a 30-day supply. So I was like, okay, it's like $1 and a couple cents a day for my vitamins, not a big deal. Then just one day I went online to order them, and they were like $56 a bottle. And I was like, oh no, So I started ordering a different brand. That brand was not working for me. You couldn't take it with other medications. So when I was taking my diclectin, I was having a hard time finding a time of day where I could actually take these prenatals. And because it was so difficult trying to take those vitamins, I often would forget, or I just wouldn't. And if I didn't take those ones closer to the evening time, I would get sick because of the iron in them. It's another thing to consider with your prenatal. I decided to go with the gummy, knowing full well it doesn't have any iron. I have perfectly fine iron levels at all of my exams, so I'm not concerned, and I've been taking these since before my pregnancy, and other than that little stint there for like a month where I wasn't taking them, these have been my favorite. I definitely recommend them. They do have fish oil in it, so you are getting your DHA. You take 6 of them a day. So I take all 6 of them in the morning. They're like a candy basically. I don't mind taking all 6 like right away. I've read some reviews, people saying that they wish they didn't have to take 6. I personally don't mind taking 6 because there is the fish oil, and they distribute the fish oil throughout all 6, so you don't taste, it doesn't have a fishy taste. You don't get fish burps afterwards like I did with my other one. I had to take like a separate DHA. I was taking the prenatal and I had a separate DHA that I had to take. I hate fish, so I love these. Give them a try if you're looking for a gummy vitamin and they're in your price range. Leggings. So like I said, bloating started at week 6. I was super uncomfortable in my jeans. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't fit in my jeans right now if I tried to put them on. But week 6, I had to stop wearing any kind of pants that were restricting, and I started wearing leggings. I didn't have so many pairs of leggings because I wear a uniform to work, so I don't need like an abundance of clothes. So I had a couple pairs of leggings, but between my leggings and my jeans I have a lot of clothes, but I just didn't have like a lot of either. Just mixed together there is a lot. So I had to go out and buy more because it's all I can wear. It's all I've been wearing since week 6, and definitely a must-have item. The ones I'm wearing right now are like high-waisted. These ones are by far my favorite. I bought some that were like low-waisted because they said in the description that it was good. They were good for your first and second trimester, but those even made me uncomfortable. Having any kind of waistband on my stomach just made me super uncomfortable. So if you're looking at leggings for your first trimester, I suggest anything high-waisted. These are TNA leggings. They're my favorite leggings pre-pregnancy. They're my favorite leggings in pregnancy. They're super, like, because of the waistband, I feel like I'm going to be able to wear them for a really long time into my pregnancy. So definitely I think those are worth investing in. My next must-have item is my water bottle, which I've already featured. So it's a Starbucks refillable bottle. I mean, use, or tumbler, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what you use. I just loved having something that was easy. I liked the straw because it helped with my nausea a little bit rather than just drinking gulps of water. Drinking like full gulps of any kind of liquid kind of set off my gag reflex. So I liked having the straw, and also I just liked having this for at home. At work I used my Nalgene bottle. This was definitely something I recommend having. And then you just always have water around because it is super important to stay hydrated, especially in the first couple weeks of trimester when your body is accumulating amniotic fluid. My next must-have item is going to sound a little funny. Mouthwash and gum. When I was in my first couple weeks, and even now, not every time, but sometimes after I eat, I have a super bad taste in my mouth. It doesn't matter like if I brush my teeth or not. It's like in the back of my throat, and I can't brush my tongue as far back as I used to. So I just like having these with me. Luckily I work in a dental office, so I don't need to carry around the mouthwash. I just kind of keep this in my purse, but I carry the gum around, and I have unlimited mouthwash at work that I have access to, and those really help. I just quickly gargle at the back of my throat after I eat. If I feel it coming on at all, it just helps you feel fresher and better, and then you can't taste that gross taste in the back of your throat, which a lot of women experience, and it is pretty, like, it's disgusting. It is nausea inducing. It is not nice. Another must-have item is this little guy. He's super cute. He is a bath thermometer. I love taking scalding hot baths. Always have. Am always going to. I don't take showers very often while pregnant just because I find like standing up with the heat is a little too much for me, so I take a lot of baths. This little guy just makes sure that I'm not having my baths too hot. You put him in the water, he tells you the temperature, and he tells you the time as well. Tells you the temperature and the time. Currently in my hand he's apparently 23 degrees. So he just beeps at you when it's too hot. That's when I would know to turn the water a little cooler. Another item I have that is 100% an essential for me, may not be an essential for you, is quite early on I got a pregnancy pillow. I was having a lot of back pain, a lot of hip pain. I was having a lot of trouble getting comfortable at night. I was just tossing and turning. Even though I was fatigued, I was waking up many times a night. I ordered the Farmidoc pregnancy pillow off of Amazon. It's like $64 I think, and I got the U-shaped one, and it has changed my life. I think I'll probably use it even after my pregnancy is over. I just love it. It takes up a lot of room in the bed. However, it keeps my hips, it keeps me on my side for one. That's the first thing. And then it also, because I'm like tucking it in between my legs, it keeps my hips and my back a little more aligned. So it helps out a lot with the pain that I was having during the day with my back and my hips. And I just find it so nice, the U-shape, because I can be on this side sleeping, and then I can roll over and be on this side and not have to like bring pillows with me to try and prop myself up in the places I need. It's always like on both sides of me, and I sleep way better. So definitely if you're looking for a pregnancy pillow, consider the Farmidoc. I know it might not be for everyone. A lot of people like the Queen Rose pregnancy pillow. I just wanted to give this one a try. I'm really glad I went with this one. Another must-have that's probably not the most healthiest must-have I have is fizzy drinks. So I drank a lot of ginger ale my first couple weeks of pregnancy, probably up until like 8 or 9, because after that I started associating the taste of ginger ale with nausea and vomiting. So then I had to stop drinking ginger ale for a while, and I switched over to Freshka. Like I said, not the most healthy, but definitely settled my stomach, made me feel a little better. Also, a symptom I forgot to mention this whole time, pretty much starting week, I'm gonna say 6, when my nausea started increasing, I started having a lot more gas. The fizzy drinks kind of brought some of that up, which made me feel more comfortable, but it also just settled my stomach a little bit. So it helped a lot with my nausea. I drank a lot of that, as well as my water. I was peeing constantly, but that's just like a byproduct, side effect of the thirst. I wouldn't say that I was peeing any more than I would have pre-pregnancy with the amount that I was drinking. So I feel like I was just peeing a lot in response to how much I was drinking. I don't feel like I was peeing a lot because of my pregnancy. Alrighty guys, that's it. That's pretty much my first trimester in a nutshell. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like, subscribe to my channel. If you have any video requests or want to know any more about my first trimester, you can put them in the comments below. If you have any constructive feedback you'd like to give me, because this is my first video in this kind of vlog style, you can give it to me down below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you real soon.